Can you do an intro? I'm not recording this. I just like need to hear someone do an intro, even if you do an AOHD intro.
Okay. And welcome back to E.C.V, my peoples, my friends, my homies. I'm Gio, your host. wALiE's gone. I'm here with Booth Babe. You know, me and her have gotten friendly ever since wALiE disappeared. You know, unfortunately, he probably fell down the same set of staircases that Booth Babe's ex-boyfriend fell down. And so we're trying to figure out what happened.
We're doing a Halloween episode. Okay. I'm here, guys. All right. Thank you.
No problem.
Back again with my voice and the visual. With me, as always, to my left, I got Gio. Gio, how are things been? I know this has been a crazy week for you.
Stressful.
Stressful.
I have been quite drained between like all the editing and stuff from like the AOHD videos on a daily basis, and then I also have like my own business that we run.
True.
And so like trying to run that and like implement the new technologies that's going into that business, setting all that up along with doing all the editing and stuff. It's just been so much fun.
I want to quickly discuss that for anyone who isn't coming over to Ever Changing Vibe from AOHD. This past week, the week of recording this, today is going to be video number 5. We hit 500 subscribers about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago.
About to hit 6.
And Gio came up with this like incredible idea, like, let's go hard. Let's put out a video, like a fan requested video every single day of the week. And this was when you must have been on an ego high or something.
Yeah,
like,
I was.
You were ready to do as much editing. Like, yeah, dude, we can do it. And I'm here to do whatever content you want me to do. So we did like 8 videos. We recorded like 8 videos one day, and then still had a couple more to record this past Tuesday. So Tuesday we got to the studio, and I could tell how much that shifted from when we recorded a bunch of them to that day. And I was like, oh, because he's been editing like a bunch of videos. He's got all this stuff. Work just like, I feel like you forgot about your other work.
Yeah, I did.
When you came up with the
100%.
idea.
920% I forgot about, like, oh wait, I have other obligations.
I still
YouTube's not my full time.
Yeah. We're not paid yet. That's why we did the big week, hoping to build up that fan base. Just quick numbers. Do you know if we've gained some subscribers from this week?
Yeah.
Again, we got one more coming out day of recording this. So this episode 104 is actually going to come out a week after we've concluded our big 500 subscribers, 5 videos, 5 days. How did I say it correctly this one time?
Oh, I don't know. Out of like all the 375
millions,
times we tried.
Millions of takes, and neither of us could like say those words in that correct order. But yeah, I'm really excited. We got a shout out from Christian Gates on one of the videos, commented it like, even though I don't think it's squashed your overwhelmed anxiety, whatever is going on.
That was a nice
entirely, but I felt like
that's even a word.
Gave you some juice.
Yeah. I mean, also just as like because I know you asked earlier, we went this week from 500 to 587. So,
shit, man.
Yeah, so we're doing okay. We're doing
slow growth.
Good. Slow growth, but I enjoy it because it gives me time to fuck up. But is it
really that slow? Like, it's been building. I mean, we've been doing it for not even a full year, and there's been so much that's happened, and every single time that number gets a little bit bigger, we get the same level of excitement, and we have just as much fun.
The funniest thing is we still get the same amount of excitement the second something passes 100.
Right.
Never mind, like, the ones that are hitting like 10K or 8K or 3K.
And this isn't even talking about Ever Changing Vibe. Like, this is just the AOHD stuff that's been really exciting. But without further ado, we have a guest third mic person probably most requested to come back on this show. One of my favorite people to talk to because it brings out such an important side of me that I think is great for entertainment and also just someone I love to talk to and hang out with. Booth Babe, how you doing today?
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Okay, she can go home now.
Okay,
right?
bye.
We can
I did my piece. I'm out.
This is actually our second time recording episode 104. Last time we were here was April 1st, was it? April 1st. So I had just finished up my, discipline challenge month of March, and I started the morning with some Bloody Marys.
Sure did.
So we started the podcast, and I didn't notice I was when starting the podcast, but I was already drunk.
Yep.
So there's a lot of footage that, because I continued to drink throughout the pod. We were popping champagne, doing mimosas. It was a fun vibe, but looking back at it and reflecting back on it, it just was not the episode that I wanted to release, especially not with finally having Booth Babe return since episode 89, where we recapped my year and we talked a lot about us and our story.
We recapped the year, but we talked about 3 days.
Yeah, right. And then flew through the rest of the months. So, new little feature of this ever-changing vibe. I got some lovely messages or quotes that I like to kind of get us rolling. And I have so much fun scrolling through my Instagram whenever we get a new reel posted. Napoleon, we got quite an inquisitive, what's the word? Like a question?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Something that's going to make us think as we get into this episode. So let me introduce this.
Question. Roses are red, violets are blue. Why are roses red, though? Why can't they be purple? Why can't they be green? Why can't they be blue? No, really. Why do roses have to be red? And why does everybody think it's so romantic to say roses are red? And why are violets blue? Why can't they be orange? Why can't they be black? Right? Roses are red, violets are blue. Are they? Really? I don't know. I've never been a romantic type.
Well, we got some more videos.
But I will say this, though.
All right, real quick to recap before we jump into today's episode. Gio's ready to cut me off when it's time, but 3 questions
Always.
I want to answer from that video. Why are they red? Why are they romantic? And are they romantic? It was kind of what I broke down from his question. Why they are, he also asked, why do they have to be blue, violet? It's well, that they don't have to be. That's just, it's the species. They just are. Why is anything is because it is. But, Booth Babe, why do roses red? Why
do roses red?
Why are roses red?
I don't know. That's why I picked this video, because I agree with him. Because you go to the store and you can buy all different color roses. So I agree. Why I like blue. What if I wanted some blue roses? You know?
Gio, why is that poem, Roses are red, violets are blue, romantic?
I think it just depends on what you put after that, right?
True. Depends on how you use it. And that's going to take me to the are they question. And I think they are romantic and they are red because of how Gio just answered it. It's the poem. It's the cliche poem. It's an easy rhyme. You rhyme with red. Why are roses red? Why are violets blue? I have a bed. Can I fuck you? It's just easy. It's
So that's how he got you, huh?
I just did that off
it.
the top.
That was it.
Off the top.
Pulls that out whenever he needs it.
So, hopefully that answers. If you have any other comment or any other, takes on that, comment down below. And with that, Gio.
angle is just like. Is it really stills though? Because you still put it in the video.
Coming soon. You'll hear it on Sunday. Alrighty, back with this show. We just reflected on why roses are red, why we use that poem. Romantic, sometimes not. Booth Babe, you had a very interesting topic. So, as many of my listeners may know at this point, every day when I'm driving home from work, I call my dad for that little 20-minute commute. Just reflect, get a lot of things off my mind, and have a good laugh, especially after, a rougher day. He always kind of has me thinking about something that I just am at a point where I need to laugh, so I just start joking about it. It's a fun little back and forth. And then I usually get the phone calls from Booth Babe when she gets out of work. And I know lately, especially this past week, I have no business being on the phone. Like, I'm just like, I just want to do my thing. I've already talked. I don't need to talk more today. Mm-hmm. But how have things been since the new year, episode 89?
I feel like things have been pretty just stale, boring. I feel like that's why every time you're like, do you want to come on? I'm like, I don't have anything to say. Nothing's happening. Nothing cool is going on. So
we're in a relationship.
Yeah, you're pretty boring
lately.
lately.
That was like the biggest insult I've received in.
I wanted to make the joke, but then it just like came out natural. I was like, all right, you know what? I have no space anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to quit that Chrome because I might want to bring that Rosetta Red video back up, but that's.
I mean, I get it.
That's the boring ADHD that you live with.
With poems like that, Booth Babe, I get
it. She's more of the type to be like, let's go. You got a couple minutes?
Time to explore different avenues.
Just be vague.
Different caverns.
Activities.
Yeah.
We have an activity.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want it? We have a couple minutes. You want to do an activity? Yeah. Painting?
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah, it's like at least once a week you ask me, so babe, we haven't painted in a while.
Yeah.
Should we paint tonight? I'm like, okay, if you want to. And then we never do.
It's been coming up a lot lately, and we just haven't.
No. I bought new canvases and everything.
I remember one of the last times
maybe tonight. We'll let you know next time.
Right? I remember one of the last times you guys got together over here. It was like right at the end while he was like, do you want to build Legos tonight? And I'm just like, you have a full child.
They were Mega Blocks, and this is a great thing to go into.
And I did build the whole thing, and it was fun. And it's so cool. Yay. Don't break it.
I gotta catch them. No, when you got me that Pokeball as a Christmas gift, and I made a comment about it being Mega Blocks. I'm like, I'm loyal to Legos. Mm-hmm. A couple of weeks ago, we were at Target, and I was in the Lego aisle, and
we had already spent $1 million there that day.
Oh, I don't even have that written down. That could be a fun one to go into. And I started to like see all the Lego prices, like, and I knew they've been getting expensive, and they always kind of were expensive, but now I notice it's like not even that reasonable. And like Mega Blocks, I feel like have got better. They even have like franchise deals like Pokemon, and now I'm looking at Legos as like, why did I act like I was loyal all this time? It's not like I'm constantly buying Lego sets.
No, you're such a snob when I gave them to you. You're like, oh, Mega Blocks.
Dude, I think I've turned. I think I'm a Mega Block guy now.
And that was something I never even noticed. They were all in the same aisle. I saw it was Pokemon. I saw it lit up, thought it was cool, just bought it. Never would have thought twice.
See, I think even as a child, like, because, being the poor kid back in the day.
Especially as a child.
Yeah. And, like, you'd see, like, for us, we used to get, like, gifts from, like, the church or something like that. And sometimes I'd see them, and it's like Legos always looked so, like, refined and, like, so neat. And there was something about them, whether it was the glisten or whatever it was, it, like, looked so good. But and then you'd see Mega Blocks, and you were like, this looks like something you would have got at Dollar Tree. Like, as a child, I've noticed this.
And not only, like, because growing up, I was a big Lego kid. I built a lot of sets. Actually, my brother would usually build the sets. I would use pieces and build like my own spaceship or, you know, whatever for the guys. I'd play with Legos. I'd build Legos.
AKA a bunch of straight pieces that you just kind of put on like a square.
No, I wish I still had my, like, my craft, but I
You
would
even
build.
made something with your niece the other day, and you feel like so proud of it. And she like wanted to do something yourself, and you're like, no.
Yeah, there was a couple times.
Don't
she was
mess
like,
with my truck.
she's trying to put a yellow piece on. I'm like, yeah, that's not symmetrical. Like,
Yeah.
the yellow piece goes on this side. But I noticed back in the day, Mega Bloks, not only like were they not as aesthetically pleasing as in the ways you described, but there were times where the pieces themselves were not molded properly and wouldn't connect to them
Yes.
very well. But I noticed as you were building the Pokeball, Mega Bloks improved on that significantly. And I feel like all the pieces actually fit together. They would never fit with a Lego. Like, they would still have that same problem where it's like they're almost designed like that. And in a similar way to, like, you know, Apple is all the Apple products work together and won't work with like other technology or anything. But the difference with Apple versus Lego and Mega Bloks debate is Apple has blue text versus green text, and like that's a huge thing. That's like a big indicator. Mega Bloks never really had that, so there was never really a reason to switch over. And it was like, I have more Legos. A lot of the franchises that Legos were partnering with were always better at the time. So there was no reason to switch over to Mega Bloks. Now I'm like, now I'm a Mega Block guy, especially since I'm not like trying to build my own spacecraft or anything.
Although I have to say, like, their entire Harry Potter line, the Lego Harry Potter collab is so cool. But to build the Hogwarts castle, it's like multiple $100.
Yes.
It's insane.
Another big franchise was the Star Wars, but as I've kind of like, you know, I think Star Wars, since being bought out by Disney, is kind of like too much. There's too many types of stories. Like I don't know. It used to be like Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, Boba Fett, and like those were the characters and those were the things. It was across 6 movies. Now it's like it's all the 6 movies or 9 movies. Then there's like the Mandalorian subset and this subset, and it almost got to a point where like if you buy a Mandalorian set of Legos and you know one from episode like 4, like an Anakin Skywalker, like the color schemes don't even like match. Like you couldn't even play with those 2 sets, even though they're both Star Wars. Like expanded too far.
That's what I worry about with Harry Potter, because there's
yeah.
rumors going around right now that Warner Brothers is trying to cut a deal with J.K. Rowling to create a Harry Potter series, like a TV show series. And what I've gathered from like what I've read about it is that it would just be like 1 season per book. So to me, that just seems crazy because like...
So wait, they're redoing the books? And
Yeah.
Oh, they're redoing the books.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I know.
J.K. Rowling's so good.
that
Like, she
even
could
sell?
write a new storyline.
Right.
But I think that there's also that whole controversy between like J.K. Rowling in general right now.
Yeah.
Like the whole
I feel like
Twitter
it's been
thing.
long enough. Like I don't think people really care.
I think people will always mention it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's
Just like
fair.
the games. Like everyone kept on like coming at people for playing the games at
Yeah.
all, but and then it's
Yeah.
just like the games are selling perfectly fine. So obviously
Dude, R. Kelly still slaps. I Believe I Can Fly is a banger.
I'll be honest, aside from that track, I can't name a single other R. Kelly song. But it's because I never really got into R. Kelly that way.
But if you heard an R. Kelly song, it is a banger.
know.
Like another great one that I liked was
Wait, wasn't it like
My
Trapped
Girl?
in the Closet one?
Trapped in a
But
Closet.
I only know that one because of Weird Al.
Trapped in a Closet is hilarious at like to laugh at and make fun of. You're not putting that on. Dude, he raps the words like Beretta, meaning gun. I pulled out my Beretta. And he also raps something about like, and it was a midget, like in his melodic voice.
It wasn't a rap. It was
It was whatever R. Kelly was trying to do. It was
R&B?
artistic. It was very, like, if it was designed to be like a comedy thing, it was that. But I think he was trying to be serious. And he's also a fucking crazy person. And when it came out, I don't think people knew that he was a crazy person, at least not to that point. And I think that's when people started to be like, what's going on with this guy in his personal life? And then we got a great docuseries.
Mm.
Did you ever watch that?
Never heard of it.
The R. Kelly, no, not Trapped in a Closet. The do you know which one?
Oh,
I'm talking
I know
about?
that because you showed me.
Oh, I really
You
enjoyed
made me
that.
watch.
No, I didn't make you. Oh no.
Yes, you did.
I made you watch Trapped in the Closet.
Yes.
But I didn't make you. You do you know the docu series,
I've
whatever?
never heard
It's
of
like
it.
about the victims of like.
Mm-mm.
I knew it was a thing, but I've never watched it.
It wasn't even like a cult. Like a cult, the people that are like essentially being abused are like almost choosing to be. He was like holding people prisoner essentially, and then, but like it was like one of those abusive narcissistic relationships where it's like the victim feels like they can't leave, but technically they're an adult and they could leave, but they feel trapped in
The closet.
literally.
But I already like had heard that story plenty of times, whether it was like from a news article or a YouTuber covering it or whatever it was. It's just like I never watched that specific docuseries on the whole thing. Like it was just like, oh well, of course. But
Anyways, I want to transition a little bit. Kind of where I was trying to go. Oh, something just happened to the wide.
yeah.
Where I was trying to go initially was it yesterday that when you called?
Yeah.
Maybe a couple days ago.
Yeah, that
Either
was
way.
yesterday.
And you said something to me like, "Oh, I just had a crazy premise or something," and I was like, "What?" Like, nah, nothing. It's I don't know if it
I like
makes
didn't
sense.
know how to explain it.
And I literally said, "Do your best," because like we can build off of it, and we fucking did.
Yeah.
And it was so fun for me to like build off of a premise, but can you explain it? I know you yawned and then you thought of something, and then when you finally explained it to me, we built off of it into let's see where it goes.
So I'm driving home and I get really tired, so I start yawning. And then after I yawned, I was thinking about the whole idea of yawning and how it's like contagious, or like if you think about yawning or you talk about yawning, then you start to yawn. And that reminded me of like the whole like AI thing, where if you talk about something, or people even say like if you're thinking about something or whatever, then it starts to come up on your phone. And that's why I like didn't know how to explain the premise, because it was just like these two things that are like not related at all, but like kind of have correlation a little bit. Yeah.
And then I went into, because especially if you listen to a lot of Joe Rogan or that scene where you hear people talking about AI, and there's a lot of like fear and hysteria around AI, but I feel like there's been conversations lately on like with Joe Rogan and some of the other guests that he's had on, kind of explaining a possible like beneficial theory to like the evolving AI that we know. And I am trying to no longer be fearful of what's to come and try to accept the inevitable, and how I want to frame it in a way that I'm like actually excited about the future. And it made me think of when you said this yawning correlation, the idea that whenever you say something and then all of a sudden it's on your phone, you go, "Oh, my phone is listening, and that's why I just got an ad read for kitty litter or something. It's because it heard me talking about cats in this conversation. Now I get kitty litter, kitty litter." And then I thought, what if it's less about the AI or your phone actually listening to you, and it's really more about the fact that, what was the theory that the term that I thought of? It was something along the lines of, it's on your brain, so now you notice it more.
Right.
Like
Yeah, I just Googled it. It's like the frequency illusion. Like, because you just thought of it or you just talked about it or whatever, you're going to notice when you see it, versus you could have already been seeing it, but your brain isn't processing it in the same way now that it's fresh in your mind.
Right.
You're like, oh shit, I was just talking about that. That's so weird. But you could have not talked about it, still would have saw the same thing and then not have thought anything of it.
And I think there is a like legit ratio between how often that happens versus how often your phone is actually listening. It's actually pulling together an algorithm.
Right.
And sometimes it might just be an algorithm. Like if we're talking about like just Instagram or just TikTok, like a social media platform, that algorithm might be similar to how like an Amazon suggested, like people who bought this also bought that. So if you start liking something like, if you start liking Yu-Gi-Oh cards, all of a sudden you're going to get like things about Pokemon showing up in your feed. But you're not really noticing the Pokemon showing up in your feed until one day you're talking about Pokemon, and then you go on your phone later and you scroll and you're like, dude, there's so much Pokemon. Maybe it doesn't show up until after you've talked about it. Maybe it is listening, but I think there is more of a balance or a ratio of both happening. And it's helping me digest. And I hope I'm right. And I might be so far off. Our phones might always be listening, but it's one way that I'm like trying to change the way I think about something to be more excited about it so that when it starts to build, I'm ready to adapt and evolve with it.
Yeah. Because some of it's cool and some of it's helpful. Like, I know Spotify just came out with like an AI DJ, and I actually listen to it all the time because I've never been like a person who enjoys making playlists, but I like to listen to music. I just like for the playlist to already be made. So I like to, like, my sister is huge into making playlists, so I listen to her playlists all the time. I really like how Spotify like curates playlists for you based on like what you've been listening to, and that's kind of essentially what the DJ does, but it kind of like pairs like a voice to it. Like he'll be like, "Hey, what's up?" and then he says my name, which is kind of weird.
It does?
It says your name.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah,
Like, I don't
it says
have Spotify,
it says your name, so he would be like, "Hey, what's up, Booth Babe? This is your DJ." And I think his name is Xavier because I think he is just like a person who works at Spotify because he has a podcast through Spotify that I used to listen to all the time, like the daily come up, the daily something. It was a daily, like almost like a morning show type podcast that I used to listen to every day on Spotify. So I know that I like recognize his voice, which at least made me feel a little bit better because I was like, oh, okay, I know that this is like that Xavier guy who works for Spotify. Like I've heard him before on Spotify. So it wasn't just like, what the heck? Who is this random guy saying my name?
I wonder how they choose that, because I know they have AI, and there's a lot in the music industry, like criticisms or fears about the way people can take, and I think Gio sent me a video about this, take a voice like Tupac and just put all of Tupac's songs into an algorithm and then just rap over, like rap their own bars and be like, make that sound like Tupac. And then it sounds a lot like it.
Right.
So I wonder if
how much of it he recorded,
if you're getting Xavier, and if I listen to Joe Rogan a lot, I get a Joe Rogan voice.
Oh wow, I didn't even think of that.
And maybe
I just assumed like, oh, he works for Spotify. This is a Spotify thing. Like he pre-recorded a bunch of this stuff.
Because what I was about to ask was like, is it like a because you said AI, so part of me was, is it like a bunch of essentially like voice recordings that he saved for Spotify that now when the AI is essentially reading off a script.
Right.
It's using his voice.
Right.
Because part of me sitting there just like,
that's what it seems like to me.
That's a lot of DJs to hire.
Yeah, no, that's what it seems like to me. I think it's just this one guy, but I don't really know. But what's cool about it is like, so I'll click like the DJ button on Spotify and I'll start my drive or whatever, and he'll be like, okay, hey, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. It's your DJ. We're going to start off with, and he like will play 5 or 6 songs within like a certain thing. So like here are some songs that you've been really into lately, starting off with Lizzo or whatever, and it'll play like a bunch of songs that I've just been listening to a lot lately. And then one that I really like is he'll be like, oh, here are some songs that you probably grew up listening to and really loved, and it's all like throwback songs that are amazing.
So it's almost like
they're not even songs that I've listened to on Spotify before. But I think like they like take like your age and like the music that you already do listen to and kind of based on that, I don't know. But then there's also songs like, here are songs that a couple months ago you were listening to a ton and you're not really listening to anymore. Here are those songs again.
So you hear him speak those.
Yeah,
things
he
before.
comes in. He comes in about every 5 or 6 songs.
So really, what Spotify has done is brought back the radio, because that's what like the radio was. It was like, you know, the hosts were talking, and then they introduced like, all right, the new #1 single by blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Here, but now
And sometimes it's not necessarily curated to me. Sometimes it's like he'll say like, oh, the Spotify curator people say these are the hottest hip hop songs right now. Let's play them for you or whatever.
which is interesting. Like I love it because
It is cool because like it's mindless for me if I don't like that specific thing. Like one time he was playing like, oh, here's some songs from the 80s or whatever, and I just like wasn't into any of the songs he was playing. It wasn't like the vibe that I was feeling at the time. So you can press like the little DJ button again and it'll move on to the next thing. But that's pretty cool. And I think also another like cool AI thing is the what's it called? ChatGPT.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've actually found that it could be helpful for my work. Right now, something that we're having a really hard time with.
write an IEP for.
No,
like that's
that
like
would be so bad.
At a school district.
But yeah, I mean, it probably could. But we're having a really hard time finding like quality. They're called decodable books, so like they only include words that have phonics patterns that the kids would know. So you can't give a kid a word like water because that's not really like the sounds.
It doesn't sound like the letters.
Exactly.
Phonics is such a funny word, and I'm sorry to abruptly transition right here. It sounds like it should be way cooler than it is, but it just describes the sounds of words. Like phonics is like the sounds of words.
And matching it to print.
And matching it like phonics could be so much like used as a word that describes like cool hipster dudes that like club music. Like look at that group of phonics. I want to go hang out with those phonics.
Sounds like a slur when you say it like
Actually,
that.
yeah. Those phonics. Yeah. I want to go hang out with some phonics. Dude, I'm super into phonics.
But yeah,
Dude,
so
that
something
sounds better. Like use it towards like music or
right. But something we've thought about and talked about at work is like, oh, what if we just tell ChatGPT like using this list of words, write us a decodable story. We tried it. It didn't really work super perfecly, but
dude, try it.
I've used it.
I'm sure it'll be more advanced.
Yeah.
It's getting smarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like for me, I've used it personally for my job, and one of the things that I was doing is I was writing a policy out, and I essentially just put out the policy and wrote it as best as I could. As you could tell, I mean, I said writ it first, so it didn't turn out the greatest. But I wrote out a policy, and then I put it into ChatGPT, and I asked it to make it more professional. And so that's how I utilize it.
Is that the two that you sent me?
No, actually, those ones I did myself.
Oh, good, yeah.
Well, the first one that I sent you, I think, was the auto-generated one, and then the second one I personally wrote out. But there was another one before that I had just like thrown.
Too many details. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is.
I did ask. Sorry.
Yeah,
That
no,
just makes
you
me
did.
think though, like how interesting and hard it must be to be like a high school or like college professor right now. Cause like, how do you know when
South Park fucking took over that whole question.
like, how do you know when a kid is actually writing an essay and when they're just saying like, write me an essay about this book?
So
Is there a
South
way to
Park's
know?
joke, it was all the they're elementary students. So their third grade teacher is grading their reports, and there's 3 kids that are using ChatGPT to write these essays, and they're these crazy in depth, and the teacher's like stressing out like, oh, these are such good papers, they're so long, blah, blah, but it's so hard to read. And his husband says to him, why don't you use ChatGPT to grade it? So then he starts using ChatGPT to grade it. So it's like,
So nothing is real.
so nothing was real. It's like they're writing these incredible articles, and then they're using that to grade it. And so there's 2 positive theories that I've been trying to understand or incorporate into my thinking when I think about AI. And the first one is how it is replacing jobs and doing all those things.
Yeah.
And the positive twist to that, like, yeah, we're going to lose jobs, but
What were we talking about yesterday about that? Oh, the self-driving cars. Yeah.
which I'm going to
Yeah.
transition. We'll
Yeah.
get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
When it's replacing the jobs, it's awesome because that allows humans to be more creative because now they can spend time doing things that they want to do with these AIs, these algorithms, these robots, whatever it is, kind of completing the like monotonous tasks. And I know like the counterpoint would be to say, well, what if the AI start to recognize that they're just being used? That could happen. But what if AI start to recognize like humans are using us like this, but they feed off of us. They need our creativity to come up with new ideas. Otherwise, AI just plateaus. AI stops in 2023 and says, well, this is the best essay on this that I could ever write because we're not inputting anything more. We're not advancing as a society. They actually need us to continue to be creative, to continue to do crazy things. And they're going to guide us through that in a safe manner. They're going to be smarter about what we do, what they can, give to us. And I try to connect it, and I am using one of the recent podcasts I listened to with Rogan, David Cho, which I could spend a whole podcast talking about how it was him on Joe Rogan that got me to even truly realize that I could do a podcast. It doesn't matter. That's besides the point. But he was talking about like how it's similar to the relationship of like bees and pollen and flowers. Like bees,
like a reciprocal relationship.
Yeah, like bees need the thing to grow, and that thing uses the bees to spread their pollen. So like we kind of do become a factory of humans, but it's our creativity. Like we're like the flower. We're blooming. We're becoming this beautiful thing that the bees are like, yep, I need you to keep being beautiful so I can keep getting that pollen to work for my thing. So the better you guys do, the better I do. So it's like they're incentivized to do things that are in our best interest.
I kind of do wonder, though, like, what ends up happening to, like, say when AI takes over the majority of just, like, actual human jobs, right?
Talk more in the mic.
Oh, my bad. I'm sure they could hear me, I think. But
I mean, I don't even see a...
Oh, bloop. Well, I have a quiet voice. All right. But regardless, it does make me wonder, like, at that point when, like, most jobs are taken, what happens to money? Like, you know what I mean? Like, does that just go away? Because if that's the case, I want to live in this era. Like, you know what I mean?
Do it. Full send.
Yeah, like, full send.
No
Let's
more
go.
money.
Do flowers need money?
No, but that's what I'm
because
saying.
they use the bees to work or what, like they do
But
the
that's
jobs.
the other thing. Like, does it then become like, oh, whatever AI that you have per your own person is what creates whatever money you have, and like it just becomes like a hierarchy society, or is it like, oh wait, no, money is no longer necessary. Humans can just live however humans want to live. Like AI is creating this, creating food, creating like events for us to go to, all this stuff, and like humans can just do whatever they want.
Well, I don't think
because then it just becomes.
I don't think the AI will allow us to let them be the creators. Like they need us to be the creators. Like a tulip is pretty, not because the bee made it pretty, but because the tulip is pretty. Like we are the beautiful mind that helps the bee spread that beautiful mind. Like
that doesn't answer his question about money.
So what kind of I learned from the conversation that I listened to on Rogan was the idea of universal income. So you can still have a capitalistic society where, you know, the 1% are still trying to build businesses. There's still entrepreneurs. There's still people creating new things. But for the people that like otherwise aren't getting paid can now just focus their time on being creative. They can pursue arts. They can pursue, becoming a stand-up. They can pursue.
But how do you make money?
Universal income. Like every month you just get $1,000, or every month it was a concept that I disagreed with wholeheartedly back when I was like a little more political. Like, that doesn't make sense because like people are just gonna abuse the system. People who could be working are gonna just take this money and not work. And but now if they're not working, there's someone working for them or something. The AI is still working for them.
But I feel like with universal income all around, money almost becomes pointless because now money's just coming out of your ass, which already kind of does. But like, it's like how much money can go around. Does that make sense? Like.
Fine. Yeah, but
like
I don't think
feel
it
like
will
the
matter.
1%
It'll
take
allow
up a good chunk of that money. So then, like that universal income, like how are governments going to continuously have enough money to fund the entire world?
I mean, it's a conversation that I'm not gonna fucking sit here and try to
Why
figure
don't you
out.
know all the answers?
Yeah.
wALiE, what the fuck is wrong with you? You brought up this topic. You should be a savant.
I got out of politics for a fucking reason. But I also think like even if you're like not working, like it gives you more time to spend with your family. It still gives you the purpose to try to, repopulate or continue to like have a family. Like,
Or become the fat wALiE people.
why did you do that? Why did you do that? That was I'm not okay with that insult.
The worst part.
The balding thing's fine.
The worst
You
part.
decided to name yourself
I
after a
know.
Pixar movie with all
Yeah,
fat
exactly.
floating people.
That's on yours.
No. We don't speak of the name.
Oh, okay.
There's no. What are we talking about? No one knows. wALiE is ever-changing vibe, the greatest content creator to ever live, to ever live.
Not a robot with wide eyes.
Nope.
Stop.
Who looks like Rob.
What? Stop. Stop.
Wait a minute.
Don't.
Fill my cup. Put some liquor in it. No.
Transition gently. Last night, we took a couple Ubers. I think 3 in total, right? Yeah, 3 in total. First one reminded you of your dad's van.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm in my dad's minivan right now. We're going on a family road trip.
It even gave me a nostalgic of like back in the day. We had a family van and it was a Toyota Sienna. So I'm like,
that's what my dad drives.
I felt a very similar vibe. I'm like, this is lit. But then our other 2 rides were both
Teslas, which was so crazy.
Have you ever been in a Tesla?
I have,
Sure.
but like I got to test it.
That's
Oh,
cool.
you drove it.
Yeah.
So
Just
is
being a
why
passenger was
wanted to.
awesome.
we've never even been passengers. I've never even like touched a Tesla. Like,
No.
put my fingers on the surface of a Tesla. Never mind throwing a rock at it to demonstrate how strong the windows are and shatter the window. That was the Tesla trucks, the Cyber trucks or whatever.
Yeah. Living in LA, I had some very richer friends.
Oh, true.
Which made me feel extra poor. But, I still enjoyed having the richer friends.
So the first one pulls up to pick us up. And I literally go, I see the fucking handle. I'm like,
How do you get in?
it's aligned with the whole fucking door. Like and I'm like, the guy starts, like, I started to like push it. And when I started to push it, the handle started to come out. So if you don't know Teslas, you get what I'm going at. If you know Teslas, I'm just an idiot right now. So I started to push the handle. Literally, it was as I was pushing in the handle to like pull it out, he hit the roll down window button because he could see us struggling. So I thought that was to roll down the window. I was like, dude, I'm sorry. Like I pulled it away. I went to go peek in the driver. Like,
Yeah.
so
I didn't know that you were doing that because I was like, you literally had it. Why are you stopping?
So he's like, oh, just pull it. And as he's saying that, she just pulls it open, and we go in. We're like, oh, first time in a Tesla, dude. Sorry, I'm just confused.
The whole time we're just elbowing each other, like, look at that, look at that. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Dude, one of the craziest things. So we were leaving a parking lot onto like kind of like a main road, and right in front of us was a truck that was going the same direction. As he's going over to like the exit of the parking lot to get on the main road, I noticed the little like, the huge monitor
Yeah.
that has a screen that shows you like vehicles around.
Yep.
Showed a graphic image of a truck. Didn't think anything of it right away. But now we're following that truck. Wow, my wide's really fighting you today.
Yeah, it is.
So now as I'm following the, truck, or as we're following the truck, I didn't think anything of it because I'm just like, oh, it's just showing a graphic of a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, behind us comes a car that's passing us, like more of a SUV almost, maybe a Subaru or something.
Mm-hmm.
And as that passes us, the little, monitor created a little, image of an SUV. And then I started to realize it is so smart and knows the type of vehicle next to it.
Mm-hmm.
It
was so weird.
That was the craziest part. I knew how advanced it was, but I'm like, you could have put a rectangle to mimic what a car looks like anywhere around. My car doesn't even, it has a backup camera, and it has these, blue lines that kind of, show you how close something is, and then red lines, and then the year later would beep as you get closer to the red lines, and I'm like, wow, that's so cool.
I don't even have a backup camera. The idea of a backup camera is phenomenal to me. But
this thing had a right turn and left turn camera.
Yeah, it had cameras on the outside showing you all of the things around you as you're turning.
Insane.
As a matter of fact,
I really
in
need that.
accident situations, Tesla consistently is always recording. So if you do get it, you don't have to have a recording camera or anything like that because there's constantly cameras around. So say somebody hits you or anything like that, you have the visual proof.
That's
my
funny because
God.
the guy
I could have used that a couple times.
The guy who picked us up, also, so never been in a Tesla. We got an Uber ride Tesla. Whoa, it was fucking crazy. We went from dinner to downtown to get a drink or two more.
So you guys were drinking. I was waiting to figure out why you guys took multiple cars, or Ubers, but now I know.
Yeah,
I
didn't want to drive.
I had 4 drinks within 4 to 5 hours, but regardless,
I had 4 drinks within 4 to 5 hours, and I woke up at 5:30 this morning still drunk.
Yeah, dude, it was so funny.
That's me most of the time. I don't get hangovers. I'm just consistently drunk most of the time.
It was hilarious. It was very fun to be a part of. But so we get picked up in a Tesla, and we're like, dude, 2 Uber Teslas in one outing. It didn't seem real. Our first Tesla, and also 2 Teslas in one night.
Yeah, that was so crazy.
Did you notice he had a dash cam? That's why I was bringing up the second Tesla. They had a dash cam, not recording us, but recording in front of them.
No, I didn't notice that. I was too busy focused on
the guy had
he had a little
it's called an
tablet,
octopus or something.
Yeah, that you could play games on and stuff while you're in the Uber. I was playing all the games.
I had something when I did Uber for a couple months, years and years ago. I remember I had my iPad in the back seat for them to be able to pick the music, whatever they wanted and stuff like that. But that was it. I didn't give nobody no games.
Nope.
I was
my dad still Ubers, and he really enjoys it. He likes it a lot.
I think the first guy definitely just does it because he's either retired or very wealthy. It didn't seem like he needed the money. Just his whole persona.
Yeah, he was super nice.
It was a very nice guy. Just I'm just I have nothing to do. It's something to get me up in the morning or whatever.
Yeah, I remember a while ago. I don't think he does it anymore, but at one point in my dad's Uber career, he's a firefighter. He does it on the side. It's not the only thing he does. But he created a little store in his minivan where he would have waters and gum and snacks and stuff that he would just give to his Uber customers if they wanted it.
That's cool.
So he could bump up his ratings and stuff.
Oh, see, that's much smarter than what I had it for free. I wish I had charged the fuck.
Yeah.
I had even with DoorDash, I remember I had forks and spoons and just utensils just in case somebody forgot it. Yeah, just to throw in if they didn't have it.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad loves doing all that stuff. He does DoorDash and Instacart and Uber and all that stuff.
That's how I survived in LA
likes
for a while.
He just likes driving around and talking to people.
Yep.
Yes.
That me.
So as we right before we jump into the wrap up, I do want to run upstairs real quick and use the bathroom. I'm fidgeting like a crazy person, and I can't mentally get thoughts out right now. But I do want to add, because I know this is a fun little theme for the three of us. While I step out for a minute, your dad is also an amateur wrestler, or is very into the whole wrestling scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Gio and I have talked about wrestling. I think we even brought up a little bit of our conversation after
I
Gio's
think
dinner
so. I think so.
on the last
Yeah.
episode, episode 95, Valentine's episode. You guys have to, if you liked this episode, listen to 95. That one was fun and wild and entertaining. So, quick little backstory about, without, you decide how vague
yeah.
it can be.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna run upstairs.
You want me to give the backstory?
You want you to give the backstory
Okay.
while he
Yeah,
takes a
ju-
leak.
just
Of my dad.
tell me about growing up with a wrestling father.
Sure.
So it started when I was born.
Started.
Immediately suplexed out of my mother's womb.
Yeah, literally. Well, I mean, essentially, so my parents are super young, and when my mom was pregnant with me, when my dad proposed to her in a wrestling ring.
Oh.
So I was there for the proposal
Look at that.
in a wrestling ring.
Look at
Yeah.
that.
So when I say I grew up around wrestling, like I literally grew up around it, like fresh out of the womb, ringside with my mom.
Was she also super into wrestling, or was she just there to support?
She was along for the ride.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah. I'm sure she was like as into it as a kid is in the 80s and 90s, just like pop culture wise.
With,
but
the
like,
Hogans
yeah,
and-
exactly. Like
Andre.
big Shawn Michaels,
Mhm.
she liked him. But
Yeah, that
otherwise, I don't think
can't-
she cared at all, but
Okay.
had to because that was his thing. Just like I don't care about podcasts, but here I am.
yeah. You know,
Careful.
who knows? One day wALiE may propose to you,
On a podcast, I will
yeah.
I will kill myself.
and you'll feel just like your mom inside of that wrestling
Oh
ring.
my god.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that part.
No. Don't even get that in your head for a second. But yeah, I just always grew up around it, and he eventually retired and stopped doing it once he was in his 30s because his back wasn't happy with all the slams and suplexes and
I feel like
stuff,
that happens
Carrying
a
all
lot.
those
Yeah.
like belts on his shoulder.
yeah.
Because every time I've seen like a wrestler like retire, whether it's like retiring early or whatever, it's usually like due to a head injury or a back injury, and it's
Yep.
usually just one of the two.
Yep, his back was pretty messed up it's still like not great, but it reminds me of you and your back, but I don't know what your excuse is. You're not.
Being slammed all over the place.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, at least not in that sense.
Breaking my bag. Doing activities.
Like painting.
Painting. Anything else on the wrestling thing?
No?
Because as I said, I had pea brain, and now that I got a release, this is what I really want to close on. We alluded to it earlier when we were talking about shopping at Target.
Here we go. Buckle in.
But I don't even know if I want to go into that whole premise and that whole story per se, but I do think I wouldn't be doing this episode justice if we didn't get into a little bit of relationship conversations. And one of the great ones that me and my dad talked about a lot, but you've also sent me like TikToks kind of like with this whole premise and everything. And I'm interested to see how Gio reacts to this, like what stories Gio has. But the quote that significant others, I don't want to gender it, but I feel like it's a girlfriend comment, at least with the people that I've talked to about it. Seems like something that the girlfriend says to the boyfriend, or the husband, or the wife says to the husband, that sort of ballpark. When you have a minute, can you tell me Gio, what does when you have a minute mean? Like the sentence, the question or whatever, the statement. When you have a minute.
It means I've forgotten something and I need to go do it now.
Okay.
Usually.
So. Did I
It
cut
means-
you off? I didn't mean to.
No. That's just it. I thought you were just leaving more for me to like talk more. And I was like, oh, wait.
So when you have a minute means when you have a little downtime, when you're free, when you're not
you're
busy.
asking like what I think of it as.
Yeah, what does that
I thought
mean?
you meant of it like how they think. Yeah.
Oh,
how
we're going there.
Okay.
What
How
does
I
it
think
mean?
of it.
What does
Yeah,
it mean is
it's
what I
like
should have asked.
When I have extra time
Yeah.
to actually do said task.
Oh, you're asking me when I'm doing something? Yeah. When you have a minute? Yeah, I'm doing something right now. When I have a minute. Oh, I'm playing little video games. I kind of like said I wanted to play about an hour. Like in my head, I didn't have this conversation at all. I'm going to play for about an hour. She asked me like 25 minutes in, when you have a minute? Yeah, I'll have a minute. And when I wrap up this game or whatever, maybe 2 games. Yeah, so yeah, I can do that. And then you hear whatever the task that she asked you to do,
Being done.
her attempting, and you're like, oh, I'm in trouble. Like she's gonna be pouting and like I'm gonna come on. I can help you. I got it. No, let me help you. I pause in the middle because the other part of this, and we're gonna have all the guys' perspective fighting you before you have your chance to talk. So the other
That's
side
usually how
of it,
society works, but yeah, keep going.
Continue.
the other side of it too. It's not just like,
This is
when
important.
when you have a minute, can you vacuum? Yeah, I can vacuum. Can you vacuum? Can you vacuum? Yes. Yeah, I said just make sure you vacuum these rooms. Okay. Then 3 minutes later, you hear her starting to vacuum, and she's like, well, I asked you 4 times. 4 times in 30 seconds. And you also prefaced the whole thing with, when you have a minute. So yeah, but I have a minute.
I've never done that.
Dude, you literally... I just called you dude because of how real this is to me. You literally do that. You literally, like, this. And then when I go, like, oh, can I help you? It's like, well, I already asked you 3 times. I just needed to get it done.
I've never said, oh, I've asked you 3 times.
You've brought up the fact... Maybe those words in that order didn't come out of your mouth, but the words that came out of your mouth were when you have a minute, and I was waiting until I had a minute, but that was not
But you
good
also have ADHD and you're going to fucking forget. So that's why when you have a minute means right now.
But whenever you do, you know what's funny too, and I'm realizing even more so as we're talking about it, this is not just a girlfriend talking to their boyfriend.
It's also like a mom talking to kids.
In my world,
Or dad talking to kids.
my dad was
Yeah.
always like that. Like,
Right now.
go do it. Go
Yeah.
do it. You have to get up and go do it.
Mm-hmm.
But my dad's crazy for all of the very, very fun. Dude, I got to have him back on. I've been talking to my brother and him about getting the 2 of them on, because it's one thing when my dad's on and we get to like break down the craziness and the hilarity that makes up my dad's brain. But when it's only me talking to him about it, I don't think you paint the full picture, because a lot of the things that I'm like, dude, what? It's things that like my brother understands, like that I understand, like, and that's just dad. And like, you guys might think it's like a one-off thing. It's like, no. This is a dad thing. Anyways. All right. When a woman, when a girlfriend, when a significant other says, when you have a minute, what does that mean? What are you expecting out of that? When you ask me, when I'm playing Call of Duty and I got my double XP token running and I got 15 more minutes on it, and you say, when you have a minute, what are you asking me?
I'm just asking you to do it at some point. That is what I truly do mean, but you do forget.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
Babe, you know how good I am. There's been multiple times where you are about to leave to go grocery shopping, and you say like, when you have a minute, can you make sure that you vacuum and you do, not that you've really ever asked this, because usually you do this, but like just to add to it, like you usually go vacuum. Oh, actually, no. There was a specific time you go, can you vacuum and do the bathroom?
Mm-hmm.
Do the toilet, you said. Do the toilet. And I was like, yeah, I can do that. You left. You got back. I did vacuuming. I did the bathroom. I even knew how stressed you were in the moment. Like with that day, I even sprayed and wiped down the purple dust that we have all around the house. Another hilarious concept. I cleaned up the kitchen. I did some dishes. I vacuumed. I did the toilet, the sink, and the shower. I made sure I cleaned up.
Yeah, that's stuff that I do
remember.
every week. Yep.
I tell you this. I tell you that I know you do it better than I do.
I'm not saying I do it better than you do. I'm saying I do it all more often than you do.
I pay for dinner more often than you do.
Okay, that's not what we're talking about.
I'm the provider.
Okay. Sure.
He needed something. Oh, she said, sure. Like,
it's an equal. Thank you, feminism.
I do all of the grocery shopping. Technically, I'm the provider. I'm providing the food in the house.
I'm building the
Legos.
arrows.
He's building all of your Lego pieces, your Lego houses, your Lego Pokemon thingies.
Don't do that because I want to do the building.
Yeah, she does the building.
Shit, Wally. What
I
do
am
you do?
also the handyman of the house.
I keep her entertained.
So entertaining.
I make sure she enjoys activities.
There we go. Providing.
That double cheeked up. Anyways, glad we got into that. The Target thing is definitely for another day. It's a whole premise I've been working on. And ever since I had a little bit of success telling you what I was building, I haven't thought about it more. So
Yeah.
I gotta keep working on that.
I won't cry next time you talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a long week. There was a lot going on that week, and I was not all like fully there, and yeah, that was a weird week, but just like always, like, you know what I think is important to notify, especially, or to like note when, you know, realizing the difference of like a relationship and like in love versus just loving someone, where like I never worry, even in the worst of the moments, that it's gonna end. Like, to me, it's like, oh, this fucking really sucks right now, and or like I'm really mad at her, or you're really mad at me, and I just go, this is gonna suck to get through, but that's my thought. It's like, this is gonna suck to get through. I feel like in a lot of past relationships, it's like, oh, this is the end. This is the one, and then sometimes it's not the one, and then it's my thought for every other argument, where like with you, it's, I always just like, nah. A part of me is like, you're not gonna know what it is yet, but when this is resolved, you're gonna see the growth that happened because of it, and I feel that every time we have our downs, or even when we have our ups, it's like, we have these ups because we've fought through so many downs, and we grow in so many ways. So I just have to make sure that this is a part of a Booth Babe episode. The roses redo. Roses are red. Violets are blue. I got a little drunk this time, but it's been a good redo. Gio's going to learn how to perfectly time it. No, now we got to finish up. Booth Babe, anything else? Gio.
That one wasn't as good. Just don't forget, though, she also still needs her roses. Last time, even though we were redoing it, you know, she definitely asked for roses last time. Said you weren't giving her enough.
I did buy myself more flowers just yesterday.
Dude, that's so out of context. Anyways, congratulations this week. You've really been killing it, Gio. Thank you guys for listening to another episode. I'm not sure, so sure I'm happy that you're actually on today. That audio is way too loud. You can probably barely hear